Welcome to the Deep Sleep Science channel. Tonight, we will explore how the body starts burning fat and why that process is less dramatic than it sounds, yet deeply powerful. Fat burning begins quietly when your body uses a little more energy than it receives. When you move a bit more, eat with a little more balance, or allow yourself proper rest. It's not a switch that flips overnight, but a steady shift that happens when consistent habits align. When fat begins to be used for energy, your body isn't just changing how it looks, it's changing how it functions. Blood sugar can become more stable. Energy levels can feel steadier. Joints may carry less strain. The heart and metabolism often work more efficiently. Even small amounts of fat loss can support better sleep, improved mood, and greater physical comfort in daily life. There's no need for extremes to begin. A modest calorie deficit, balanced meals with enough protein and fiber, gentle strength training, daily walking, and consistent sleep are often enough to set the process in motion. Over time, the body adapts. It becomes a little stronger, a little more efficient, a little lighter in the way it moves. Body fat is mostly stored as tiny energy packages called triglycerides, tucked safely inside fat cells known as adipocytes. You can imagine these cells as storage rooms that expand when more energy is stored and shrink when that stored energy is used. When your body needs energy between meals, during activity, or overnight, it can break those triglycerides apart into two usable pieces: glycerol and free fatty acids. This unlocking process is called lipolysis, and it's one of the key first steps that allows stored fat to be used. Those free fatty acids can travel into many different cells and be turned into energy through a process called beta oxidation. This happens mainly inside mitochondria, the microscopic structures often described as the power plants of cells, because they help convert fuels into usable energy. Fat loss, in its simplest form, happens when your body uses and burns more fat than it stores over time. It's not a momentary event, it's a trend that builds quietly through repeated days, where energy use outpaces energy storage. One of the most surprising details is what happens to fat when it's burned. The carbon atoms from oxidized fat leave your body mostly as carbon dioxide that you breathe out and as water that you excrete through urine, sweat, and other normal pathways. Even though the scale can change quickly, weight loss and fat loss are not the same thing. Early changes on the scale often come from shifting water levels and changing amounts of food moving through the digestive system, not from large amounts of fat disappearing overnight. A calorie is simply a unit of energy, like a measurement. Over time, body weight is strongly influenced by how much energy comes in through food and drink, compared with how much energy the body uses for everything it does. Your daily energy use has multiple layers: your basal metabolic rate, the thermic effect of food, and physical activity. Together, these add up to what's often called total daily energy expenditure, or the overall energy your body uses in a day. Basal metabolic rate, often shortened to BMR, is the energy your body spends just to keep you alive at rest. Even when you're lying still, your body is doing constant work, breathing, circulating blood, regulating temperature, and keeping organs running. Lean, mass-like muscle and organs generally increases resting energy needs more than fat mass does. That's because these tissues are more metabolically active, meaning they require more energy to maintain their normal function. The thermic effect of food is the energy your body uses to digest, absorb, and process what you eat. Even eating takes energy, because the body has to break food down, transport nutrients, and store or use them. Protein tends to have a higher thermic effect than carbohydrate, and carbohydrate is generally higher than fat. This means the body usually spends more energy processing protein than it does processing the same calorie amount from fats. Dietary fat provides about 9 calories per gram, while protein and carbohydrate provide about 4 calories per gram. That's one reason fat-rich foods can become calorie-dense quickly, even when portions look small. Your body can store excess energy as fat, even if that extra energy came mostly from carbohydrate or protein. In other words, the body tracks overall energy surplus, not just fat eaten, when deciding what to store. Glycogen is a stored form of carbohydrate found mainly in muscles and the liver, and it binds water along with it. When glycogen stores rise or fall, water shifts with them, which can make scale weight change without reflecting actual fat change. A calorie deficit can be created by eating less, moving more, or combining both approaches. Many people find that the most sustainable path is the one that fits their routine, preferences, and energy levels over the long run. Sustained very large calorie deficits often increase hunger and can reduce spontaneous activity in many people. This can happen because the body senses a prolonged shortfall and responds with stronger appetite signals and quieter energy conservation. As weight loss continues, energy expenditure often drops for 2 reasons. Your body becomes smaller and metabolism can adapt. This combination can make later stages of weight loss slower than the beginning, even when effort stays steady. Smaller bodies typically burn fewer calories for the same activity than larger bodies. Moving a lighter body requires less energy, so the same walk or workout can cost fewer calories after weight loss than before. Weight loss plateaus often reflect a new balance where calorie intake matches a now lower energy expenditure at the new body weight. It doesn't mean nothing is happening. It often means the body has reached a new steady state that requires a fresh adjustment to change again. White adipose tissue mainly stores energy for later, acting like a reserve tank. Brown adipose tissue, on the other hand, is more like a heat generator, helping the body dissipate energy as warmth, especially in response to cold. Brown fat contains many mitochondria, which is part of why it looks darker under the microscope. It can generate heat through special mechanisms involving proteins that let mitochondria release energy as heat, rather than storing it efficiently. Cold exposure can activate brown fat activity in many adults, but the response varies widely from person to person. Some people show a strong activation, while others have much smaller changes, and overall lifestyle factors still matter more. Browning refers to certain white fat cells taking on brown-like characteristics that increase heat production. This can happen under certain conditions, and it's one area scientists study for its role in energy balance. Visceral fat surrounds internal organs and is metabolically active, which is one reason high levels of it are often linked with higher cardiometabolic risk. It can influence inflammation and hormone-like signals in ways that matter for health. Subcutaneous fat sits under the skin and is generally less strongly linked to metabolic risk than visceral fat at the same amount. It still stores energy, but its location and behavior in the body tend to be different. Fat cells can grow larger, which is called hypertrophy, and they can also increase in number, which is called hyperplasia. This means body fat storage can expand through both bigger storage rooms and more storage rooms. After significant weight gain, the increased number of fat cells can persist even if those cells later shrink. When weight is lost, fat cells typically shrink in size, but the total number of cells doesn't always drop in the same way. Adipose tissue is not just passive storage, it acts like an endocrine organ. It releases signaling molecules called adipokines, which communicate with other parts of the body and influence metabolism, appetite, and inflammation. Leptin is one of these adipokines, and it generally signals energy sufficiency, like a message that the body has enough stored fuel. In leptin-sensitive states, this can help reduce appetite and support energy balance. As body fat decreases, leptin levels often decrease as well. which can increase hunger signals. This is one reason maintaining weight loss can feel different than losing weight in the first place, because the body may push harder for replenishment. Ghrelin is a hormone that typically rises before meals and can stimulate appetite. It's one of the body's ways of encouraging you to seek food when energy has been used up since the last meal. Short sleep is associated in many studies with shifts in appetite-related hormones, including lower leptin and higher ghrelin. That combination can make people feel hungrier and more drawn to calorie-dense foods after nights of insufficient rest. Insulin helps regulate blood sugar, and it also influences fat storage and fat release depending on context and overall energy balance. It's not simply good or bad, it's part of the normal system that helps move nutrients into cells. During a calorie deficit, the body generally increases reliance on stored fuels, including body fat, to meet energy needs. Over time, more stored energy is tapped to cover the gap between what comes in and what the body requires. Catecholamines like adrenaline and noradrenaline can stimulate lipolysis. These signals often rise during physical activity and certain stress responses, helping the body mobilize energy when it's needed. Thyroid hormones influence metabolic rate, and hypothyroidism can contribute to weight gain through reduced energy expenditure and fluid changes. Because thyroid hormones affect many systems, changes can show up as fatigue, cold sensitivity, or slowed metabolism. Cortisol is involved in the body's stress response, and it can influence appetite, cravings, and fat distribution patterns. When cortisol stays elevated for long periods, it may shape eating behaviors and energy storage tendencies in some individuals. Chronic stress can increase snacking behavior in some people, though responses vary. Some people eat less under stress, but many find stress makes quick, comforting foods feel more appealing. Appetite regulation involves the brain, gut hormones, sensory cues, learning, and environment, not a single willpower switch. Hunger and fullness are real biological signals shaped by many systems working together. The body can use both fat and carbohydrate during exercise, and the blend shifts depending on intensity and duration. At gentler intensities, fat often provides a larger share of the fuel, while harder efforts rely more on readily available carbohydrate. Lower intensity exercise often uses a higher percentage of fat as fuel, but it can burn fewer total calories because the overall workload is lower. It can still support fat loss by adding consistent energy use across days and weeks. Higher intensity exercise tends to use more carbohydrate during the effort, yet it can still contribute strongly to fat loss through higher total energy expenditure. What matters most over time is the overall energy balance and consistency. The afterburn effect, also called excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, can raise energy use after exercise, especially after higher intensity work. Your body spends extra energy restoring balance, repairing tissue, and replenishing certain stores. Resistance training supports muscle maintenance, which can help preserve resting energy expenditure during weight loss. Keeping muscle while losing weight often improves how the body looks, feels, and functions at a lower weight. Muscle is metabolically active tissue, meaning it uses energy even at rest. While it doesn't burn enormous calories on its own, preserving muscle helps prevent metabolic rate from dropping as sharply during dieting. Strength training can improve body composition even when scale weight changes slowly. People sometimes gain or maintain muscle while losing fat, and the scale may move less even as the body becomes leaner. Progressive overload to gradually increasing challenge over time is a key driver of strength and muscle adaptation. This might mean slightly heavier weight, more repetitions, more sets, or better technique over weeks. Protein intake paired with resistance training can help limit lean mass loss while dieting. Protein provides building blocks for muscle repair and training gives the body a reason to keep that tissue. Cardiorespiratory fitness can improve without major weight loss, and those improvements still benefit health. A stronger heart and lungs can mean better endurance, lower fatigue, and improve daily energy. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or NEAT, includes the energy you use for standing, walking around, chores, and even small movements like fidgeting. It's the hidden layer of activity that quietly adds up throughout a day. NEAT varies dramatically between people and can meaningfully change daily energy expenditure over time. Two people with the same workout routine can have very different total daily burn depending on how much they move outside the gym. Many people don't notice that when they start dieting, their everyday movement can quietly drop. Without meaning to, they may sit a little more, take fewer small trips around the house, or move less energetically because the body is trying to conserve energy. This reduction in daily movement can make weight loss feel slower, even if formal workouts stay the same. It's one reason gentle awareness of daily activity can matter during a calorie deficit. A simple step count can be a useful way to understand how much you move through a normal day. It doesn't capture everything like lifting, cycling, or swimming, but it does give a steady, easy-to-track signal of whether your overall movement is trending up or down. Over weeks, step count can help reveal patterns, like lower movement on busy workdays or higher movement on weekends. For many people, it's a practical, low-stress measurement. Short, frequent walking breaks can add meaningful movement without needing a long workout session. A few minutes here and there walking to another room, stepping outside briefly, or doing a loop around the building can accumulate into a surprisingly large total by the end of the day. These small walks also break up long sitting periods, which some people find helps energy and mood. Over time, this can support a healthier daily routine. Sitting less and standing more can raise daily energy use a little, simply because standing requires more muscular effort than sitting. Even modest changes like standing while on the phone or using a standing desk for part of the day can add up across many hours. It's not a dramatic calorie burn, but it can contribute to an overall pattern of being more active. The main value is often heard makes movement feel more natural and frequent. Choosing stairs instead of elevators adds brief bursts of higher intensity activity into the day. Stair climbing uses large leg muscles and increases heart rate quickly, even if it only lasts a minute or two. Over time, these repeated bursts can improve fitness and strengthen the lower body. It's a small, practical habit that can quietly build endurance. Everyday tasks like carrying groceries, cleaning, and yard work can contribute a real amount of weekly energy expenditure. These activities often involve lifting, walking, and moving in varied directions, which makes them more physically demanding than they might seem. Because they happen regularly, they can become an important part of total activity without requiring extra exercise time. Many people find this kind of movement easier to sustain than formal workouts. Small increases in daily activity are often more sustainable than occasional intense workouts. A little more walking, a bit more standing, and more frequent movement breaks can fit into life with less friction. This consistency matters because fat loss is usually shaped by repeated days and weeks, not one heroic effort. When habits feel manageable, they're more likely to last. Regular exercise tends to improve insulin sensitivity, meaning the body becomes better at handling blood sugar and using insulin effectively. When muscles work, they become more efficient at taking in glucose, both during and after activity. This supports metabolic health and can make energy regulation smoother over time. Even when weight loss is modest, these improvements in insulin sensitivity can still be meaningful. Dietary protein is often more filling than the same calorie amount from fat or carbohydrate. Many people notice that a protein-rich meal reduces cravings and keeps hunger calmer for longer. This is partly because protein influences fullness hormones and slows the return of hunger signals. Protein also supports muscle maintenance, which becomes especially important during weight loss. Higher protein eating patterns often lead to people naturally eating fewer calories without trying as hard. When meals are satisfying and hunger stays steady, there's less pull toward constant snacking or oversized portions. This doesn't mean protein is magic, but it can make the overall plan feel easier to follow. For many people, it's a helpful tool for comfort and consistency. Digesting protein generally costs the body more energy than digesting fat. That means, after a protein-rich meal, the body spends more calories breaking it down, absorbing it, and processing the amino acids. This is part of what's called the thermic effect of food, and protein tends to lead the group. The effect is not enormous, but it's real and can support overall energy balance. Spreading protein across meals can support muscle protein synthesis more effectively than eating almost all protein in one sitting for some people. When protein arrives regularly, the body gets repeated opportunities to use amino acids for repair and maintenance. This can be useful during dieting, when the body might otherwise lose more lean mass. It's one reason balanced meals across the day often feel both steady and supportive. Fiber adds bulk and volume to food, which can increase fullness while contributing relatively few digestible calories. It can slow how quickly food moves through the digestive system, helping meals feel more lasting. Fiber also supports normal bowel function, which can make scale trends feel less confusing. Over time, higher fiber diets are often linked with better appetite control for many people. Soluble fiber can absorb water and form a gel-like texture in the gut. This tends to slow digestion and the absorption of nutrients, which can help reduce sudden hunger swings after meals. Many people experience a steadier feeling of fullness when soluble fiber is part of meals. Foods like oats, beans, and certain fruits often contain helpful soluble fibers. Some fibers are fermented by gut microbes into short-chain fatty acids. These byproducts can influence gut health and may act as signaling molecules that communicate with the body in subtle ways. Fermentation can support the lining of the colon and may influence appetite-related pathways for some individuals. The exact effects vary from person to person, depending on diet and microbiome differences. Whole foods often require more chewing than ultra-processed foods, and chewing itself can contribute to fullness. The act of chewing slows eating, increases sensory exposure, and gives the body time to register satiety signals. Whole foods also tend to have more structure fiber, water, and intact cell wall switch can slow digestion. This combination often makes whole foods more satisfying per calorie. Energy density is a quiet but powerful concept. Foods high in water and fiber often provide fewer calories per bite. That means you can eat a larger volume and still stay within a calorie target, which feels more comfortable for many people. Foods like soups, vegetables, and fruit are classic examples. Lower energy density can help reduce the feeling of deprivation. Vegetables and fruits often deliver a lot of volume, texture, and micronutrients for relatively fewer calories. They add color and variety, while helping meals feel bigger and more complete. This can reduce the tendency to hunt for more food soon after eating. Including them regularly is a common pattern in sustainable weight loss approaches. Liquid calories are often less filling than solid calories, even when the calorie count is similar. Drinks pass through the stomach faster and may trigger weaker fullness signals compared with chewing a meal. That makes it easier to consume a lot of energy quickly without noticing. This is why beverages can quietly influence total intake. Sugary drinks can add significant calories while providing little lasting satiety. Because they're sweet and easy to consume fast, they can raise daily energy intake without reducing hunger much later. Over time, that can make maintaining a calorie deficit harder. Replacing sugary drinks with water, unsweetened tea, or other low-calorie options often helps many people. Alcohol contributes calories, and it can also lower dietary restraint for some people. After drinking, people may be more likely to snack, choose richer foods, or eat larger portions than they planned. Alcohol can also disrupt sleep quality, which may indirectly affect appetite the next day. These combined effects can make alcohol a meaningful factor in weight management. Ultra-processed foods are often engineered to be highly rewarding, easy to chew, easy to swallow, and designed for maximum flavor impact. This can encourage overeating in environments where these foods are everywhere and portions are large. Many ultra-processed foods are also energy-dense, meaning a lot of calories can be consumed before fullness catches up. Reducing reliance on them can make appetite feel calmer for many people. Portion size has a strong influence on how much people eat, even when they intend to eat normally. When larger servings are placed in front of someone, it's common to eat more without fully realizing it. This effect is driven by visual cues and learned habits, not personal weakness. Adjusting portion sizes can change intake without needing constant effort. Using smaller plates and bowls can reduce portion size for some people because visual perception changes. A smaller plate makes a moderate portion look more substantial, which can support satisfaction. It's a simple environmental change that can gently nudge eating behavior. While it's not a guarantee, it can help some people reduce unconscious overeating. Pre-portioning snacks can help prevent mindless eating from large packages. When snacks are measured into small containers, it becomes easier to stop at a planned amount. This reduces the chance of continuing to eat simply because the bag is open. It's a practical strategy for foods that are easy to overconsume. Eating more slowly can help satiety signals arrive before a meal becomes too large. Fullness is not instant. It takes time for the gut and brain to communicate. Slower eating also increases enjoyment and awareness of taste, which can improve satisfaction. For some people, this gently reduces total intake without feeling restrictive. Adding protein and fiber to meals can reduce the chance of feeling hungry soon afterward. Protein supports satiety hormones and muscle maintenance, while fiber adds volume and slows digestion. Together, they can create a steady, lasting fullness. This combination is a common foundation in many sustainable eating plans. A consistent meal routine can reduce impulsive eating for some individuals. When the body expects meals at certain times, hunger cues can become more predictable and easier to manage. Routine also reduces decision fatigue, which can otherwise lead to unplanned snacking. Consistency doesn't need to be rigid, but a basic structure can be calming. Carbohydrates are not automatically fat storing. In a calorie deficit, fat loss can occur with higher carb, lower carb, or mixed diets, as long as total energy intake stays below expenditure. Carbohydrates can support training performance and daily energy, especially for active people. What matters most is the overall balance and what is sustainable. Low-carbohydrate diets often cause rapid early weight loss because glycogen stores decrease and the water bound to glycogen is released. This early drop can be encouraging, but it's not the same as rapid fat loss. Over time, fat loss depends on sustained energy deficit and adherence. Understanding the water component can reduce confusion when the scale later slows. Low-fat diets can also support fat loss when they reduce total calories and help people stick to the plan. Lowering fat can lower energy density, making it easier to eat satisfying portions with fewer calories. Some people prefer this style because it allows more carbohydrates and larger food volume. Again, long-term success usually comes down to consistency. Often, the best diet is the one you can follow consistently while still meeting nutrient needs. If a plan feels miserable, complicated, or socially isolating, it's harder to maintain long enough for results. A workable approach matches your tastes, culture, schedule, and budget. Sustainability tends to outperform perfection. Dietary adherence tends to predict outcomes better than any single macronutrient ratio. Two different diets can produce similar fat loss if both lead to a consistent calorie deficit and people can stick with them. This is why personal fit matters so much. The best plan is often the one you can repeat calmly. Highly restrictive rules can increase rebound overeating in some people. When foods are labeled completely forbidden, cravings can intensify, and a small slip can trigger an "I ruined it" reaction. This cycle can be emotionally exhausting and hard to sustain. More flexible approaches often help people stay steady. Flexible restraint approaches often outperform rigid restriction for long-term maintenance in many individuals. This means having structure, but allowing room for normal life social meals, favorite foods, and imperfect days. When flexibility is built in, people are less likely to abandon the plan after a mistake. Over time, this supports consistency. A slight calorie deficit is often more sustainable than an extreme deficit. With a gentler deficit, hunger can be more manageable, energy levels may stay higher, and training can remain more consistent. Progress might be slower week to week, but it can be steadier month to month. Many people find this approach easier to live with. Severe calorie restriction can increase fatigue, reduce training quality, and impair recovery. When energy intake is too low, workouts can feel heavier, sleep can suffer, and daily motivation may drop. This can reduce total activity and make the plan harder to maintain. Adequate fuel supports the ability to keep moving and recovering. Losing weight too quickly can increase the chance of losing lean mass, especially without resistance training and sufficient protein. The body needs signals to preserve muscle-like strength training and building blocks like dietary protein. Without these supports, more of the weight lost may come from muscle and water. A steadier pace often protects body composition. Hydration affects scale weight, but doesn't directly reflect fat loss. Drinking more water can increase weight temporarily, while dehydration can reduce weight temporarily, even though fat mass hasn't changed. Hydration also influences performance and digestion, which can shape the overall experience of dieting. Looking at trends helps separate water shifts from true fat change. Sodium intake affects water retention, so a salty meal can lead to a higher scale weight the next day. This is especially common after restaurant meals, packaged foods, or certain sauces. The added weight is usually water, not fat, and it often settles back down over a few days. Knowing this can reduce unnecessary stress. Menstrual cycle hormonal shifts can change water retention and appetite, which can affect weekly scale trends. Some people retain more fluid or feel hungrier at specific phases of the cycle. These are normal physiological patterns, not signs of failure. Tracking over several weeks can make these patterns easier to recognize. Daily weigh-ins can be noisy, while weekly averages often show the true direction more clearly. Weight can fluctuate from water, digestion, and stress, even when fat loss is happening. Looking at an average smooths the random ups and downs. This can help people stay calm and consistent. A tape measure can show changes in waist circumference, even when the scale seems stuck. Fat loss can occur alongside water retention or muscle-related inflammation that keeps scale weight steady. Measurements can reveal body changes that the scale misses. For many people, this becomes a helpful second signal. Body composition methods like DEXA scans or bioimpedance can be useful, but they have limitations and can change with hydration. A scan might show different results depending on fluid levels, recent meals, or even time of day. These tools are better for broad trends than precise short-term changes. Using them calmly and consistently can make them more informative. Photos taken under consistent conditions, same lighting, same pose, similar clothing can reveal gradual changes that are hard to notice day to day. The human eye adapts slowly, and small weekly changes can feel invisible. Over months, photos can show shifts in shape and definition that the scale doesn't capture well. They can be a gentle way to notice progress without obsessing over numbers. Sleep quality can quietly shape how you eat and how you move the next day. When sleep is deep and steady, many people feel more emotionally balanced, make clearer food choices, and have more natural energy for activity. When sleep is shortened or fragmented, hunger can feel louder, cravings can feel more urgent, and even simple tasks can feel heavier. Over time, this is one reason sleep is often treated as a foundation for sustainable fat loss. Late-night screen exposure can delay sleep by keeping the brain alert and by shining bright light into the eyes at a time when the body expects darkness. That light can interfere with the natural timing of melatonin, the hormone that helps prepare you for sleep. When bedtime shifts later, total sleep time often shrinks, especially when morning schedules stay the same. For many people, reducing bright screens before bed is a simple way to support better rest and steadier appetite the next day. Caffeine can reduce perceived fatigue and may slightly increase energy expenditure for a short time, mostly by stimulating the nervous system. It can also make exercise feel easier, which can indirectly help with consistency and performance. But caffeine taken too late can disrupt sleep onset and sleep depth, and poor sleep can then increase hunger and cravings. So caffeine can be helpful in the right timing, but it can also quietly work against weight goals if it steals sleep. Appetite is regulated by multiple brain regions, including areas like the hypothalamus that integrate signals from hormones, nutrients, and the nervous system. This means hunger is not just a simple feeling, it's a complex decision system your body uses to protect energy balance. The brain continuously compares energy needs with incoming signals from the gut and fat tissue, then adjusts hunger and fullness accordingly. Understanding this can make appetite feel less mysterious and more like a normal biological process. The gut releases hormones such as GLP-1 and CCK that help signal fullness after you eat. These signals can slow down eating, reduce interest in additional food, and create a calm sense of satisfaction. They're part of the reason a balanced meal can feel steady for hours, while a low-protein, low-fiber snack might leave hunger returning quickly. The gut is not just a digestion tube, it's also a messaging system that talks to the brain. GLP-1 receptor agonist medications can promote weight loss mainly by reducing appetite and increasing satiety, which helps people naturally eat less. They can also slow gastric emptying, meaning food stays in the stomach longer, which can extend fullness. For some people, this reduces food noise and makes portion control feel easier. These medications are typically used under medical guidance because dosing and monitoring matter for safety. Some weight loss medications can cause gastrointestinal side effects, which is one reason doses are often increased slowly over time. Nausea, constipation, diarrhea, or stomach discomfort can occur, especially early in treatment. Gradual titration gives the body time to adjust and can improve tolerability. This careful approach helps people find a balance between benefit and side effects, with medical supervision guiding the process. Not all weight gain is the same as fat gain. Certain medications can cause water retention, which can raise scale weight quickly without adding body fat. Others can increase appetite or fatigue, which can indirectly raise calorie intake or reduce activity. This is why changes on the scale sometimes need context, especially when a new medication is started or adjusted. Some antidepressants, antipsychotics, and steroids are associated with weight changes in many patients. In some cases, appetite increases, cravings increase, while metabolism and fluid balance shift. The impact can range from minimal to significant, depending on the person and the medication. When weight change becomes a concern, it's often best handled by discussing options with a clinician, rather than trying to compensate with extreme dieting. Stopping smoking often leads to weight gain in some people, partly because nicotine can suppress appetite and quitting can make food taste and smell stronger. Some people also replace the habit of smoking with snacking, especially during stress or boredom. Even so, the health benefits of quitting smoking are large and long-lasting. If weight gain occurs, it can often be managed later with calmer lifestyle adjustments rather than returning to smoking. The gut microbiome can influence how fiber is fermented and how certain metabolites signal to the body. Different microbes are better at breaking down different fibers, which means two people can respond differently to the same high-fiber diet. Fermentation produces compounds that can interact with gut lining, immune function, and possibly appetite signaling. It's a complex area, and it helps explain why nutrition responses can vary. Different people can respond differently to the same diet because of genetics, sleep, stress, environment, and habits. Two people can eat similar meals, but differences in hunger, routine, and daily movement can lead to different outcomes. Personal preferences also matter. If someone dislikes a diet style, adherence tends to drop. This is why personalization often matters more than choosing the perfect plan on paper. Genetics influences appetite, satiety, and the tendency to regain weight after loss in many individuals. Some people naturally feel fuller sooner, while others experience stronger hunger signals and more persistent cravings. Genetics can also influence how the body partitions weight loss between fat and lean tissue. These influences are real, and recognizing them can replace self-blame with practical strategy. People often underestimate calorie intake and overestimate calorie burn, especially without tracking. Small bites, cooking oils, sugary drinks, and tastes while cooking can add up without being remembered. Exercise also tends to feel like it burns more than it actually does, which can lead to overcompensation with food. Learning portions and energy density can make planning feel more accurate and less frustrating. Food labels can have rounding rules and permitted inaccuracies, which means the listed calories aren't always exact. Over a single day, these differences are small, but across many foods and many days they can accumulate. This is one reason tracking is best treated as an estimate rather than perfect math. It's also why trends in weight and measurements are often more reliable than any single number. Restaurant meals often contain more calories because of added oils, sugars, sauces, and larger portions. Even meals that look healthy can be energy-dense when cooked with generous fats or served in large sizes. Restaurants also prioritize taste and texture, which often means richer ingredients. Being aware of this can help people plan around restaurant days rather than feeling confused by slow progress. Cooking at home increases control over ingredients and portion sizes, making it easier to create meals that match your goals. You can measure oils, choose leaner proteins, increase vegetables, and adjust portions before eating. Home cooking also makes it easier to repeat meals that you know are satisfying and consistent. Over time, that consistency can reduce decision fatigue and help weight loss feel steadier. Measuring oils and spreads matters because they are calorie-dense and easy to add without noticing. A quick pour of oil or a thick spread of butter can add more energy than many people expect. Because these fats don't always increase fullness proportionally, they can quietly push intake above target. Simple measuring habits can keep meals satisfying without unintentionally drifting higher in calories. Nuts are nutrient-dense and often very satiating, but their high energy density means portions still matter. A small handful can be a great snack, but multiple handfuls can add a lot of calories quickly. Some of the calories in whole nuts may not be fully absorbed due to their structure, yet they can still meaningfully affect intake. Measured portions help nuts stay supportive rather than surprising. Avocados are rich in fiber and unsaturated fats, and many people find them filling and satisfying. They can fit well into weight loss eating patterns when the portion matches the overall calorie plan. Because avocados are calorie-dense, the difference between a little and a lot can matter. Used thoughtfully, they can add creaminess and satiety without needing heavier ingredients. Whole grains can improve satiety compared with refined grains for many people because they contain more fiber and structure. They typically digest more slowly and can lead to steadier energy levels. Whole grains also provide vitamins, minerals, and plant compounds that support overall nutrition quality. Choosing whole grains is often less about good versus bad, and more about fullness and nutrient density. Protein quality and the food matrix matter, meaning the form of the protein and the whole food around it can change how filling it feels. Whole food proteins like fish, poultry, beans, or tofu often bring additional texture, chewing, and sometimes fiber or water. Highly processed protein foods can be easier to eat quickly, which may reduce satiety. Many people feel more satisfied when protein comes from minimally processed foods. Low-calorie, high-protein foods like Greek yogurt, legumes, lean poultry, fish, and tofu can support satiety while keeping calories manageable. They provide substantial protein without requiring large amounts of added fats or sugars. These foods are also versatile, fitting into different cuisines and meal styles. For many people, having a few reliable staples like this makes meal planning calmer and more consistent. Strength training can reduce the proportion of weight lost that comes from lean tissue. When the body receives the signal that muscle is needed through resistance, exercise it is more likely to preserve it during a calorie deficit. This can improve how the body looks and performs at a lower weight. It also helps maintain functional strength for daily life. Training frequency can be flexible, and consistency across weeks usually matters more than a perfect schedule. Some people do best with 2 strength sessions per week, others with 3 or 4, depending on time and recovery. The key is repeating the habit long enough for the body to adapt. A routine that fits real life is often the one that lasts. Beginners often gain strength quickly at first, even before obvious muscle growth happens. Early improvements are largely due to neural adaptations. Your nervous system learns to recruit muscles more efficiently and coordinate movements better. This can make exercises feel smoother and more controlled. It's a normal and encouraging part of the learning curve. Rest days support recovery by giving muscles time to repair and adapt after training. Strength gains come from the combination of training stress and recovery, not just the workout itself. Without enough rest, performance can drop and soreness can linger. Balanced recovery helps training stay consistent and safe. High-volume training without adequate recovery can increase fatigue and reduce adherence. When workouts pile up faster than the body can repair, people may feel drained, less motivated, and more likely to skip sessions entirely. Recovery includes sleep, nutrition, stress management, and appropriate workout programming. Sustainable training is usually a steady rhythm, not constant pushing. Walking is low impact and can be sustained daily by many people, making it a reliable foundation for fat loss. It can be adjusted easily, more minutes, more steps, or a slightly faster pace without needing complex planning. Walking also tends to be gentle on joints compared with many high-impact activities. Because it's simple, it often becomes one of the most consistent forms of movement. Incline walking increases energy expenditure relative to flat walking at the same speed, because it requires more work from the legs and heart. The uphill angle recruits muscles differently and raises breathing rate more quickly. Many people find it challenging without needing to run, which can be helpful for joint comfort. Over time, it can build endurance and leg strength while supporting calorie burn. Cycling and swimming can be useful lower-impact options for people with joint pain or those who prefer variety. Cycling reduces impact on the knees and ankles compared with running, while swimming offers buoyancy that supports the body. These activities can still raise heart rate and contribute meaningful energy expenditure. They also provide different muscle engagement patterns, which some people find refreshing. Interval training can improve aerobic capacity efficiently by alternating harder bursts with easier recovery periods. This approach can produce strong fitness gains in less time than steady training for some people. However, the intensity should match fitness level, because intervals can be demanding and may require more recovery. When done appropriately, intervals can be a powerful tool for endurance and metabolic fitness. A warm-up increases blood flow, raises body temperature, and prepares joints and muscles for more intense effort. It can reduce injury risk and help the workout feel smoother and more comfortable. Warm-ups also improve coordination, especially for strength exercises that require technique. Even a few minutes can make a noticeable difference in how the session feels. Muscle soreness is not a reliable indicator of workout effectiveness. Soreness often happens when you do a new activity, increase volume suddenly, or emphasize eccentric movement, but you can still make progress without feeling sore. Over time, the body adapts and soreness usually decreases even as fitness improves. Effectiveness is better judged by consistency, performance trends, and how you recover. As fitness improves, the body can become more efficient, meaning it may burn fewer calories for the same workout compared with when you were less fit. Movements become smoother, heart rate may be lower at the same pace, and muscles waste less energy. This is a good sign of improved fitness, but it can also contribute to plateaus. Adjusting intensity, duration, or variety can help keep overall energy expenditure meaningful. Increasing workload progressively, like adding weight, repetitions, time, or difficulty, keeps training challenging and helps maintain higher energy use during sessions. The body adapts to what it repeatedly does, so gentle increases can drive continued improvements. This progression also supports muscle preservation during dieting. It's a steady, practical method rather than a sudden jump. Resistance training can improve glucose uptake by muscle, which benefits metabolic health. Working muscles become better at pulling glucose from the blood, both during the workout and afterward. Over time, this can improve insulin sensitivity and stabilize energy levels. This benefit can occur even when weight loss is slow or modest. Higher daily protein can reduce diet-related muscle loss and support training performance. In a deficit, protein helps provide the amino acids needed for repair and maintenance. It can also improve satiety, making the deficit easier to maintain. When paired with strength training, adequate protein becomes one of the simplest ways to protect lean mass. Creatine supplementation can increase training capacity and raise muscle water content, which can increase scale weight without increasing fat. This water is stored inside muscle cells and is often linked with improved performance during repeated high-intensity efforts. The weight change can surprise people, but it's typically not a sign of fat gain. Over time, improved training performance can support strength and muscle maintenance. Dietary sodium can influence muscle pump and overall water balance, which can affect short-term weight. Higher sodium can temporarily increase fluid retention, especially after salty meals. This effect is usually water, not fat, and it often normalizes as intake returns to usual levels. Understanding sodium shifts helps keep scale readings in perspective. The scale can rise after hard workouts because muscle repair creates temporary inflammation and water retention. Microdamage from training is part of how muscles adapt, and the body brings fluid to support recovery. This can make weight look higher for a day or two, even when fat loss is happening. It's a normal part of training, not a setback. Inflammation-related water retention is temporary and does not mean you gained fat overnight. Fat gain requires a sustained energy surplus over time, while water shifts can happen quickly. After recovery, that extra fluid often settles down, and the scale returns closer to trend. Patience and trend tracking make this process much easier mentally. Long-term fat loss is best assessed with trends rather than single-day changes. Daily weight is influenced by water, digestion, sodium, stress, and training. A weekly average or a multi-week pattern is far more informative than one number on one morning. This approach helps keep motivation steady and decisions rational. Hunger often comes in waves and can be shaped by routine, cues, and learned associations. The body can expect food at certain times based on habit, and hunger signals may rise even if energy stores are adequate. Those waves often pass, especially if you stay busy or drink water. Recognizing hunger as a shifting signal can reduce panic and impulsive eating. Cravings can be triggered by stress, lack of sleep, and exposure to highly palatable foods. The brain learns to associate certain foods with comfort and reward, and those associations can become stronger during difficult days. Cravings don't necessarily mean true energy need. They often reflect emotion, habit, or sensory cues. Having planned alternatives can help cravings feel manageable. Food noise refers to frequent intrusive thoughts about food, like constant mental reminders to eat or cravings that feel loud. For some people, structured regular meals, adequate protein, and balanced sleep can reduce this mental pressure. Stress management can also help because stress tends to amplify food thoughts. In some cases, medical treatment may be appropriate, which is why individual support can matter. High-protein breakfasts can reduce hunger later in the day for many people. Protein in the morning can produce stronger satiety signals, leading to fewer cravings and less snacking in the afternoon. It can also support stable energy, especially when combined with fiber. While breakfast timing is personal, a protein-rich start can be helpful for those who feel hungry early. Eating a salad or vegetables before a meal can reduce total calorie intake by increasing volume and starting fullness signals earlier. When the stomach is partly filled with high fiber, high-water foods, it can become easier to feel satisfied with a smaller portion of higher-calorie foods later. This approach doesn't require strict rules, it's simply sequencing. Many people find it a gentle and effective habit. Soup and stews can be filling because they combine water, fiber, and lower energy density in many recipes. Warm liquids and soft textures can create a strong sense of fullness. Soups can also slow down eating, which helps satiety signals catch up. When soups are built around vegetables and lean proteins, they can be especially supportive for weight loss. Protein and fiber together often produce stronger satiety than either one alone. Protein supports fullness hormones and reduces ghrelin in many people, while fiber adds bulk and slows digestion. Combined, they can create a calm, steady fullness that lasts longer between meals. This pairing is one reason meals built around both tend to feel more satisfying. Eating without distractions can improve awareness of hunger and fullness cues. When attention is on the meal, the taste, texture, and pace, people often notice satisfaction earlier and stop more naturally. Distractions like phones or TV can make it easier to keep eating past fullness. Even occasional mindful meals can help recalibrate portion awareness. Mindless snacking often happens during screen time because attention is focused on what you're watching rather than what you're eating. Hands can keep reaching for snacks automatically, and the brain may not register how much was consumed. This can add a surprising amount of extra calories without much satisfaction. Creating a small boundary like only eating at a table can reduce this pattern. Keeping highly palatable snacks out of immediate reach can reduce impulsive intake. When tempting foods are visible and easy to grab, the brain needs less effort to start eating them. Adding even a little friction storing them out of sight, not buying them routinely, or portioning them can lower how often they're eaten. This approach supports good choices without relying on constant willpower. Pre-commitment strategies can make healthy choices feel easier because they reduce last-minute decisions. When you pack a planned snack, prepare a meal in advance, or decide ahead of time what you'll eat at a restaurant, you're protecting yourself from situations where hunger and convenience take over. It's not about rigid control, it's about gently setting yourself up for success when your energy is low. Over time, these small preparations can lower stress and make consistency feel natural. High-calorie condiments and dressings can quietly add a surprising amount of energy to meals that otherwise look light. A salad can shift from low-calorie to calorie-dense simply through a few heavy pours of creamy dressing or oil-based sauces. Because condiments don't always add much fullness, it's easy to consume extra calories without feeling more satisfied. Measuring or choosing lighter options can keep flavor while keeping totals more predictable. Herbs, spices, and acidic flavors like lemon or vinegar can make food taste rich and satisfying without adding many calories. These ingredients stimulate the sense of smell, taste, and even heat so meals feel exciting and complete. This can reduce the urge to rely on heavy sauces, lots of oil, or extra sugar for flavor. Over time, seasoning skill becomes a simple way to enjoy food while staying aligned with your goals. Protein shakes can be useful for meeting protein targets, especially when time is short or appetite is low. They can support muscle maintenance during weight loss by providing convenient amino acids. At the same time, they can add calories quickly if they're used on top of regular meals rather than replacing something. The most helpful approach is usually the one that fits your total intake and keeps you feeling satisfied. Skipping breakfast doesn't automatically cause weight gain because outcomes depend on total daily intake and how it affects your hunger later. Some people feel better and eat less overall when they delay breakfast, while others become overly hungry and overeat later in the day. The body doesn't store fat simply because you skipped one meal. It responds to overall patterns. The best choice is often the one that helps you feel steady, focused, and consistent. Time-restricted eating can help some people reduce calories simply by limiting the hours in which they eat. When the eating window is smaller, there are fewer opportunities for grazing and late-night snacks. However, it isn't inherently superior to other methods. People can still overeat within a window, and others may feel better with more flexibility. It's best seen as one possible structure, not a requirement. Late-night eating can increase total intake for some people because fatigue reduces self-regulation and increases cravings. When the day has been long, the brain often seeks quick comfort, and calorie-dense foods can feel more tempting. Late eating can also disrupt sleep quality in some individuals, especially if meals are large or heavy. Creating a calm evening routine and planned options can make nights feel easier. Consistent sleep timing can stabilize hunger patterns for many people by keeping the body's internal clock more regular. When sleep and wake times swing widely, appetite and energy can feel unpredictable, sometimes leading to stronger cravings. A stable rhythm can support better decision-making and steadier energy during the day. Even small improvements in consistency can make hunger feel less chaotic over time. Alcohol can increase appetite and reduce inhibition, which can make overeating more likely. After drinking, People may choose richer foods, snack more, or care less about portions than they intended. Alcohol can also affect sleep quality, and that can raise hunger the next day, creating a subtle cycle. This doesn't mean alcohol must be eliminated, but it helps to understand how it can influence choices. Carbonated water can increase fullness temporarily for some people because bubbles add volume in the stomach. This can make it easier to wait between meals or reduce the urge to snack. It can also provide a satisfying sensory experience: fizz, coldness, flavor without added calories if it's unsweetened. While it isn't a magic tool, it can be a simple support for appetite control. Satiety is influenced by stomach stretch, gut hormones, nutrient sensing, and brain reward systems working together. The body doesn't rely on a single fullness switch. Instead, it integrates physical volume, nutrient signals, and the emotional reward of eating. This is why some meals feel satisfying for hours, while others leave hunger returning quickly. Understanding these layers can help you design meals that feel calmer and more steady. High-energy foods can deliver many calories before stomach stretch signals have time to create fullness. Foods that are dense like pastries, chips, and many desserts can be eaten quickly, and they don't always fill the stomach much. The brain gets a strong reward signal, but the body may not feel physically satisfied yet. This is one reason energy-dense foods can be easy to overconsume without intending to. Protein tends to stimulate satiety hormones and can reduce ghrelin after meals in many people. This helps create that steady, "I'm good" for now feeling. Protein also slows the return of hunger, especially when paired with fiber and enough overall food volume. This is why protein is often a central part of meals in weight loss plans that aim to feel comfortable. Dietary fat slows gastric emptying, meaning food stays in the stomach longer, which can increase fullness. Fat also makes food taste richer and more satisfying, which can be helpful when portions are controlled. But because fat is calorie-dense, it's easy for portions to rise without noticing. A balanced approach often means including fat for satisfaction while keeping amounts consistent. Carbohydrates vary widely, and high-fiber carbs tend to create more lasting fullness than refined carbs. Whole grains, legumes, and starchy vegetables come with structure, fiber, and micronutrients that slow digestion. Refined carbs like white bread or sugary cereals can digest quickly, which may lead to faster hunger for some people. Choosing carbohydrate sources with fiber often supports steadier energy and appetite. The glycemic response to a meal can influence hunger in the hours afterward, especially when meals are low in protein and fiber. A rapid rise and fall in blood sugar can leave some people feeling shaky, tired, or hungry sooner. Meals that include protein, fiber, and healthy fats often produce a smoother response. This steadiness can make it easier to stay consistent without intense cravings. Insulin resistance can affect hunger and energy levels, and weight loss can improve insulin sensitivity in many cases. When insulin sensitivity improves, the body often handles glucose more effectively, which can stabilize energy and reduce intense hunger swings for some people. Lifestyle changes like diet quality, activity, and sleep can also improve insulin sensitivity. It's a gradual process that often benefits from steady routines rather than extreme changes. Regular physical activity improves insulin sensitivity even without major weight loss. When muscles contract, they can take up glucose more efficiently, and this effect can last beyond the workout. Over time, activity can support better blood sugar regulation and metabolic health. This is one reason movement matters even when the scale isn't changing quickly. Muscle is a major site for glucose disposal after meals, meaning it helps pull sugar out of the bloodstream and store or use it. More active muscle tissue can improve how the body handles carbohydrates. Strength training and regular movement make muscles more responsive, which supports metabolic stability. This role of muscle is one reason preserving lean mass is valuable for health. Sleep restriction can increase preference for calorie-dense foods in many people. When the brain is tired, it often seeks quick energy and stronger reward sensations, making sweets and processed snacks feel more attractive. This can happen even when someone has good intentions. Consistent, sufficient sleep can make appetite feel quieter and food choices feel easier. Chronic sleep loss can reduce training performance and daily movement, indirectly affecting energy balance. When you're tired, workouts feel harder, recovery slows, and motivation for ordinary movement often drops. At the same time, hunger and cravings may rise, which can increase intake. This combination can quietly slow fat loss, making sleep a powerful but often overlooked factor. Sleep apnea is associated with weight gain and fatigue, and treating it can improve daytime energy and support lifestyle changes. When breathing repeatedly stops or becomes shallow during sleep, sleep quality is disrupted even if total hours look normal. Many people with untreated sleep apnea feel exhausted and may struggle with appetite control and activity. Proper evaluation and treatment can make a noticeable difference in energy and daily function. Snoring alone isn't diagnostic because not all snoring equals sleep apnea. Some people snore lightly without significant breathing disruptions, while others have apnea with minimal obvious snoring. Diagnosis typically requires evaluation and testing, often through sleep studies. If symptoms like severe daytime sleepiness, choking sensations at night, or witnessed breathing pauses appear, professional assessment is important. Stress management techniques can reduce stress eating for some individuals by calming the nervous system. Practices like breathing exercises, gentle stretching, journaling, or structured downtime can lower emotional urgency around food. When stress decreases, cravings often soften and choices feel more deliberate. The goal isn't perfect just enough stability to respond rather than react. High stress can reduce meal planning and increase reliance on convenience foods. When the mind is overloaded, the brain often chooses the easiest option available, and that can mean fast food, delivery, or packaged snacks. These foods are often calorie-dense and less filling per calorie. Building a few simple default meals can protect you during stressful periods without needing extra effort. All-or-nothing thinking can lead to giving up after small slips, like assuming one imperfect meal ruins the whole week. This mindset can turn normal human moments into full setbacks. Planning for imperfect days, be expecting them, and knowing how to return to routine helps consistency. Progress is usually built by returning gently, not by never slipping. A structured grocery list can reduce impulse buys of ultra-processed snacks. Without a list, shopping becomes more reactive, especially when hungry or stressed. A list creates a simple plan that guides choices through the store. Over time, this can shape the home environment so healthier options are naturally easier to reach. Keeping ready-to-eat protein sources like yogurt, eggs, beans, or pre-cooked meats can support better choices when time is short. When protein is available quickly, meals and snacks become more satisfying with less effort. This reduces the chance of grabbing low-protein, high-calorie convenience foods that don't fill you up. Convenience can work in your favor when it's planned well. Fiber targets are often missed, and increasing fiber gradually can reduce digestive discomfort. Many people jump too quickly from low fiber to very high fiber and experience bloating or gas. Slow increases give the gut time to adapt and let the microbiome adjust. Over time, reaching a consistent fiber intake can support fullness, digestion, and steady appetite. Rapid fiber increases can cause bloating, and adequate hydration often helps. Fiber absorbs water, and without enough fluid, digestion can feel sluggish or uncomfortable. Gradual changes, along with water intake, usually make fiber easier to tolerate. It's a gentle process of letting the body adjust rather than forcing a sudden shift. Weight maintenance after loss often requires continued attention because appetite signals can remain elevated. The body may push for regained energy stores by increasing hunger or reducing spontaneous movement. This doesn't mean maintenance is impossible, it means routines matter. People who plan maintenance habits often find the process becomes calmer with time. After weight loss, the body may defend a lower weight less strongly than it defended the higher weight, but hunger can still stay increased for some time. This is part of why the period after weight loss can feel challenging. The body is adjusting to a new normal, and appetite signaling can take time to settle. Strategies like protein, fiber, and consistent activity can help steady that transition. High protein, high fiber diets can help reduce weight regain risk for many people because they support fullness and stable eating patterns. When meals are satisfying, there's less pressure to overeat or constantly snack. Protein also supports lean mass, which helps energy expenditure. Fiber supports volume and digestive steadiness, which can reduce the sense of deprivation. Regular self-monitoring, like weekly weighing, is associated with better long-term maintenance for many individuals. This doesn't mean obsessing over the scale, it means using it as an early warning system. When weight drifts upward, small adjustments can be made before changes become large. The calm advantage is catching trends early rather than reacting later. Weekend overeating can offset weekday deficits, especially if social meals, snacks, and drinks increase on off days. People sometimes stay disciplined Monday through Friday, then unknowingly erase the deficit over the weekend. Planning for weekends through mindful portions or structured meals often helps balance the week. The goal isn't to remove enjoyment, but to keep the overall pattern steady. A consistent exercise routine supports maintenance even when weight loss slows. Exercise helps preserve muscle, supports mood, and increases energy expenditure. It also builds identity and routine, something that keeps health habits stable over months and years. Many people find that exercise becomes more valuable for maintenance than for rapid weight loss. Building muscle can slightly raise resting energy expenditure and improve daily function. Muscle helps you move more easily, lift more, and feel more capable, which can naturally increase activity. While the calorie burn difference isn't massive, it adds up and supports a healthier body composition. Strength also makes daily life less tiring, which can support consistency. As fitness rises, many people can safely increase training volume, which raises total weekly energy expenditure. This can mean longer walks, more cycling, or more sets in strength training. Fitness creates capacity your body can do more without feeling overwhelmed. Over time, this higher capacity can support both fat loss and maintenance. Increasing protein during maintenance can help control hunger and preserve lean mass, especially as activity continues. When calories rise slightly from dieting to maintenance, appetite can still be active, and protein can steady it. Protein also supports recovery from workouts and keeps meals satisfying. For many people, protein remains a helpful anchor even after the goal weight is reached. Some people do better with higher meal frequency, while others prefer fewer, larger meals, and both can work if total calories align. The best pattern is the one that keeps hunger manageable and fits your daily schedule. Frequent meals can reduce hunger peaks, while fewer meals can feel simpler and easier to plan. Personal preference often determines which pattern is most sustainable. Eating enough at meals can reduce grazing behavior later in the day. When meals are too small or unbalanced, hunger can return quickly and lead to constant snacking. A properly sized meal with protein, fiber, and enough volume often keeps appetite calmer. This can reduce the feeling of always thinking about food. Calorie banking means eating slightly less earlier so you can have a planned larger meal later, like a social dinner. For some people, this reduces anxiety and prevents unplanned overeating at night. It's essentially budgeting energy across the day. The key is keeping the earlier meals balanced enough to avoid extreme hunger. Social support improves adherence for many people because it reduces isolation and increases encouragement. Having someone who understands your goals can make challenges feel lighter. Support can also provide practical help sharing meals, walking together, or offering reminders. The sense of being seen and supported often makes consistency feel easier. Sharing goals with a friend can increase accountability in a gentle way. When someone else knows your plan, you're more likely to follow through on small habits like walking or meal prepping. It can also create encouragement instead of pressure when progress feels slow. Accountability works best when it feels supportive rather than controlling. Environmental design like keeping fruit visible can nudge choices without requiring constant willpower. If healthier foods are easy to see and reach, they're more likely to be eaten. If tempting snacks are hidden or less accessible, they're less likely to be grabbed impulsively. This is one of the simplest ways to make good choices feel automatic. Meal prepping reduces decision fatigue and lowers reliance on high-calorie convenience foods. When meals are ready, you don't need to negotiate with yourself while hungry. Prepping can be as simple as cooking one protein, chopping vegetables, and making a few easy portions. The calm benefit is removing daily stress from the food decision. Protein at each meal helps distribute satiety throughout the day. Instead of feeling full after one protein-heavy meal and hungry after others, your appetite stays steadier. This can reduce cravings and reduce the urge for snacks that don't satisfy. Consistency in protein often supports both dieting and maintenance. Including enjoyable foods in moderation can reduce binge-restrict cycles. When nothing is forbidden, cravings can feel less intense, and small portions can actually satisfy. This approach encourages a steady relationship with food instead of repeated backlash after strict rules. Over time, moderation often supports long-term consistency. Completely banning favorite foods can backfire for some people by increasing cravings and making those foods feel more powerful. When a forbidden food finally appears, it can trigger overeating because it feels rare or emotionally charged. Allowing small, planned portions can reduce this intensity. The goal is to make favorite foods feel normal, not dangerous. Flexible planning that includes occasional treats can improve long-term adherence because it fits real life. Social events, holidays, and personal cravings are part of being human, and planning for them prevents guilt and chaos. When treats are built into the plan, they stop feeling like failures. This is often how people maintain progress calmly for months and years. Constipation can change what the scale shows because it increases the amount of material sitting in the digestive tract. That extra weight is not body fat, but it can make progress look slower for a few days. This is especially common when people change their diet, travel, or reduce food volume. Regular fiber intake, hydration, and daily movement often help keep digestion steady, which makes scale trends easier to interpret. High-protein eating can reduce appetite for many people, but it works best when overall nutrition stays balanced. If protein rises while fiber and micronutrients drop, digestion may slow, and meals may feel less comfortable. Including vegetables, fruits, legumes, and whole grains alongside protein often keeps the plan more sustainable. In practice, it's less about maximizing protein and more about building meals that are satisfying and complete. People with kidney disease may need medical guidance before increasing protein substantially because impaired kidneys can struggle with certain metabolic byproducts. For many healthy people, higher protein can be safe and helpful, but kidney disease changes the equation. That's why personal health context matters more than general advice found online. If someone has known kidney problems or abnormal lab results, it's wise to work with a clinician or dietitian. Rapid weight loss, especially from very low-calorie diets, can increase gallstone risk in some individuals. When weight drops quickly, changes in bile composition and gallbladder emptying can raise the chance of stone formation. This risk is one reason gradual, sustainable loss is often recommended. For people pursuing fast loss under supervision, clinicians sometimes monitor risk factors and symptoms. Adequate dietary fat is needed to absorb fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. These vitamins dissolve in fat, and without enough dietary fat, absorption can be less efficient. This doesn't mean high-fat eating is required, but it does mean extremely low-fat dieting can create nutrient issues over time. A balanced intake supports both health and long-term consistency. Omega-3 fats from fish can support heart health and can still fit comfortably into a calorie-controlled plan. Fatty fish provides beneficial fatty acids along with high-quality protein, which can help satiety. Because calories still matter, portion size and cooking method are important. Grilling, baking, or steaming fish keeps added calories lower than deep frying. Protein needs often rise with higher training volume and during calorie deficits because the body has more repair work and fewer overall calories to draw from. In a deficit, protein helps preserve lean mass and supports recovery from exercise. Without enough protein, the body may break down more muscle tissue for amino acids. That's why protein becomes a more important protective nutrient during weight loss than during maintenance. Sodium needs vary from person to person, especially for those who sweat heavily during endurance exercise or in hot environments. Sweat contains sodium, and high sweat losses can affect hydration and performance. For most people, sodium intake is best kept consistent rather than swinging wildly day to day, because changes affect water retention. Athletes training in heat sometimes plan sodium intake to support fluid balance and performance. Dehydration can reduce exercise performance and can also increase perceived hunger in some people. When the body lacks fluid, workouts feel harder, endurance drops, and fatigue rises, which can reduce overall activity. Some people also misread thirst signals as hunger, especially when they're busy or distracted. Regular hydration helps keep energy steadier and makes hunger cues easier to interpret. Thirst can be misinterpreted as hunger because the body's signals can feel similar, especially as a vague discomfort or restlessness. Drinking water doesn't cancel real hunger, but it can clarify whether the body is asking for fluid or food. This is particularly helpful between meals or during afternoon slumps. A simple habit, drinking a glass of water and waiting a few minutes, can make cues feel clearer. Detox diets tend to remove fat faster because the body already has built-in detoxification systems, mainly the liver and kidneys. These organs continuously process waste products and keep internal chemistry stable. Most detox plans work only by reducing calories temporarily, not by removing toxins in a special way. Sustainable fat loss comes from consistent energy balance and habits, not short detox cycles. Spot reduction is a myth. You can't choose where fat leaves your body by targeting exercises for that area. Doing many ab exercises strengthens abdominal muscles, but it doesn't force belly fat to disappear first. Fat loss happens across the body according to genetics and hormones, and the pattern varies by person. Targeted training is great for strength and posture, but fat loss remains systemic. Where you lose fat first and last is strongly influenced by genetics, sex hormones, and individual physiology. Some people notice changes in the face or upper body first, while others see changes in hips or legs earlier. These patterns can also shift with age and hormonal changes. Because the pattern is largely built-in, it's often best to focus on the process rather than chasing a specific problem area. On average, men often lose abdominal fat earlier than many women, but individual patterns vary widely. Hormone differences influence where fat is stored and how quickly it is mobilized. Some men still hold belly fat longer, and some women lose it relatively early. The most reliable approach is to track your own trend rather than comparing your pattern to others. Women may experience appetite changes and water retention shifts around the menstrual cycle, which can affect how progress looks and feels. Some phases bring higher cravings, while others bring fluid retention that raises scale weight. These fluctuations are normal and can mask fat loss in the short term. Looking at month-to-month trends often provides a clearer picture than week-to-week fluctuations. Menopause can shift fat distribution toward more central storage in many women due to hormonal changes. As estrogen levels decline, the body's preferred storage pattern can change, sometimes increasing waist measurements even without huge weight gain. This doesn't mean change is inevitable, but it can change the strategy. Strength training, protein, and consistent movement often become even more valuable. A supportive plan focuses on health, function, and long-term routine. Strength training is especially valuable during menopause because it helps maintain lean mass, supports bone health, and improves functional strength. As muscle is preserved, resting energy expenditure is supported, and daily life can feel easier. Strength training also improves balance and stability, which becomes more important with age. It's one of the most practical tools for body composition and resilience. Bone density is supported by resistance training and adequate calcium and vitamin D. Bones respond to loading. When muscles pull on bone during strength work, it encourages bone maintenance. Calcium provides a key mineral building block, and vitamin D helps the body absorb and use calcium effectively. Together, movement and nutrition form a strong foundation for skeletal health. Vitamin D status is linked with many health outcomes, and deficiencies are common in some regions and lifestyles. Limited sun exposure, darker skin, indoor living, and certain climates can increase deficiency risk. Because vitamin D affects bone health and many body systems, low levels can contribute to fatigue and other issues. Testing and appropriate supplementation, when needed, is best guided by a healthcare professional. Iron deficiency can increase fatigue, which can reduce daily activity and make exercise feel harder. When iron is low, the body may have trouble carrying oxygen efficiently, which can make even normal tasks feel draining. This can indirectly affect weight loss by lowering movement and increasing cravings for quick energy. Diagnosing iron deficiency requires proper testing because fatigue has many possible causes. Protein is built from amino acids, and some amino acids are essential, meaning the body cannot make them and must get them from food. These essential amino acids are needed for tissue repair, muscle maintenance, and many metabolic functions. When protein intake is too low, the body may struggle to rebuild muscle and maintain healthy systems. Adequate protein is less about bodybuilding and more about basic upkeep. Leucine is one amino acid that plays a notable role in stimulating muscle protein synthesis, the process of building and repairing muscle proteins. Meals that contain enough leucine tend to trigger stronger muscle-building signals, especially when paired with resistance training. This is one reason protein quality and total amount matter, not just calories. Over time, these signals help preserve lean mass during dieting. Combining plant proteins can improve the overall amino acid profile across the day. Different plant foods have different strengths. Legumes are rich in some amino acids, while grains are richer in others. When eaten in a varied diet, plant proteins can provide all essential amino acids without needing perfection at every meal. Variety is usually the simplest and most realistic strategy. Legumes provide both protein and fiber, which makes them especially useful for satiety and steady energy. Beans, lentils, and chickpeas can help meals feel larger and more filling without extreme calorie density. Their fiber supports digestion and slows absorption, which can reduce hunger swings. Many people find legumes to be a reliable, calm appetite food when prepared in a way they enjoy. Fermented foods can contribute beneficial microbes, though their direct effect on fat loss is not guaranteed. Foods like yogurt, kefir, kimchi, and sauerkraut may support gut diversity and digestion in some people. However, no single food category causes fat loss on its own. Fermented foods work best as part of a broader pattern that supports overall diet quality. Artificial sweeteners can reduce sugar intake for some people, which can lower calories and support a deficit. They can be helpful when replacing high-sugar drinks or desserts with lower-calorie alternatives. Still, overall diet quality matters more than whether sweeteners are used, because calories can creep in from many sources. Responses also vary. Some people feel satisfied, while others feel more cravings. Diet beverages can help some people maintain a deficit, while others find they increase sweet cravings. Responses differ. For those who use them successfully, they can replace sugary drinks and reduce daily calorie intake without feeling deprived. For others, the sweet taste may keep cravings active. The practical approach is to pay attention to your own pattern rather than assuming a universal effect. Cooking method matters because deep frying adds energy through absorbed oil. Foods cooked this way often become significantly more calorie-dense than their baked or grilled versions. Deep frying can also make foods easier to overeat because they become crisp, rich, and highly palatable. Choosing other methods more often can reduce calories without changing the main ingredients. Grilling, baking, steaming, and air frying can lower added fat compared with deep frying while still producing enjoyable textures. These methods let you control how much oil is used and often preserve a lighter calorie profile. They also make it easier to keep portion sizes predictable. Small cooking changes like this can support fat loss without changing the entire diet. Adding vegetables to mixed dishes increases volume and reduces energy density, which can make meals more filling for fewer calories. Stir-fries, soups, rice bowls, pasta dishes, and casseroles can all hold more vegetables without losing flavor. This strategy also increases fiber and micronutrients, supporting overall nutrition. It's one of the easiest ways to make a deficit feel less restrictive. Higher volume meals can reduce hunger without requiring extreme restriction, because the stomach senses fullness partly through stretch. When meals are bulky thanks to vegetables, lean proteins, and fiber, your body gets more fullness signal for fewer calories. This can reduce the urge to snack constantly. Many sustainable weight loss approaches rely heavily on volume for comfort. Eating protein first in a meal can increase fullness and reduce total intake for some people. Starting with protein can trigger satiety signals early, which may lead to smaller portions of calorie-dense foods later in the meal. This doesn't require strict rules, just a gentle sequence. It can be especially helpful in restaurants or social meals where portions are large. Protein and fiber at snacks like yogurt with berries can be more filling than refined snack foods like crackers or candy. The protein supports satiety hormones and reduces rapid hunger return, while the fiber adds bulk and slows digestion. This can prevent the cycle of snacking repeatedly without feeling satisfied. A small upgrade in snack composition often makes the whole day feel steadier. Low-fat or gluten-free labels do not guarantee low calories, because these labels describe ingredients, not total energy. Some low-fat products compensate with added sugar, and many gluten-free products can be calorie-dense depending on the starches used. The most reliable approach is checking portion size and total calories, not relying on a marketing label. Labels can be helpful for dietary needs, but they don't replace basic calorie awareness. Many healthy snack bars are calorie-dense and easy to overeat because they're compact and sweet. They can be useful in specific situations like hiking or a busy travel day, but as a routine snack, they may not provide enough volume to feel satisfying. It's easy to eat one bar and still want more, which can raise intake quickly. Whole food snacks often offer more fullness for similar calories. Whole fruit is typically more filling than fruit juice because it contains fiber and requires chewing. Chewing slows intake and gives the body time to register fullness, and the fiber slows digestion. Juice delivers sugar quickly with little volume, making it easier to consume a lot without satiety. Choosing whole fruit more often can support appetite control while still enjoying sweetness. Dried fruit is calorie-dense because water has been removed, so small servings can add up quickly. It can be nutritious and convenient, but it's easy to eat more than intended because it doesn't feel like much volume. Pairing dried fruit with protein like yogurt or nuts can slow intake and increase fullness. Portion awareness keeps it supportive instead of surprising. Nuts and nut butters are calorie-dense, so measured portions help keep them aligned with goals. Nut butters are especially easy to overuse because they spread smoothly and don't look large on a spoon. Despite this, they can be very satisfying and provide useful nutrients. The key is using them intentionally as a planned part of a meal or snack. Cheese can be satiating and enjoyable, but it's also energy-dense, so portion awareness matters. Small additions can boost flavor and satisfaction, yet larger portions can add calories quickly. Using cheese as an accent rather than a main volume, fruit often works well for calorie control. Pairing it with vegetables and lean protein can keep meals balanced. High-calorie coffee drinks can add hundreds of calories without much fullness, especially when they include syrups, whipped cream, or large amounts of sweetened milk. Because they're consumed quickly and don't require chewing, the body often doesn't register them like a meal. This can lead to unintentional calorie creep, while appetite stays the same. Choosing simpler coffee options or planning these drinks as a treat can make intake more predictable. Building consistent habits often beats relying on short bursts of motivation, because motivation naturally rises and falls. Habits make behavior automatic, so you don't have to decide every day to do the hard thing. Simple routines like daily walks or a protein-focused breakfast create progress quietly over time. This is why long-term fat loss often looks boring and steady rather than dramatic. Tracking can be useful temporarily to learn portion sizes and calorie density, even if you don't want to track forever. Many people are surprised by how small one serving of oils, nuts, or snacks can be, and tracking teaches that quickly. Once the learning phase is done, some people switch to simpler methods while keeping the knowledge. Tracking is best treated as a tool, not a lifelong requirement. Some people do better with a plate method, approach using visual portions rather than detailed counting. A common pattern is filling half the plate with non-starchy vegetables, adding a clear protein portion, and including a smaller portion of carbs or fats. This reduces mental load while still guiding balanced meals. For many people, it's easier to sustain because it feels simple and flexible. A balanced plate often includes a protein source, high-fiber carbohydrates, and non-starchy vegetables. Protein supports fullness and muscle, fiber supports digestion and steady energy, and vegetables increase volume with lower calorie density. This combination helps meals feel satisfying without relying on extreme restriction. It also makes it easier to meet micronutrient needs while dieting. Non-starchy vegetables typically provide high volume with low calorie density, which helps meals feel large and satisfying. They also provide vitamins, minerals, and plant compounds that support overall health. When vegetables are cooked in a flavorful way, they can become a comfort food rather than a chore. This is why many effective diets quietly rely on vegetables as the volume foundation. Whole grains provide more fiber and micronutrients than refined grains, and they often support better satiety. Their structure slows digestion and can produce steadier energy. Examples include oats, brown rice, barley, and whole wheat. Using whole grains doesn't require eliminating refined grains. Completely it often just means shifting the default choice. Replacing refined snacks with minimally processed foods often reduces calorie intake without intentional restriction, because minimally processed foods tend to be more filling. A piece of fruit, a bowl of yogurt, or a handful of edamame can satisfy hunger more reliably than chips or cookies. These swaps also improve nutrient density, which supports energy and recovery. Over time, this shift can make dieting feel less like a fight. Eating more slowly can reduce intake by giving satiety signals time to catch up. The gut and brain need a little time to register that enough food has been eaten, and fast eating can overshoot that point. Slowing down also increases enjoyment and awareness, which can improve satisfaction with smaller portions. Even small changes like putting down utensils between bites can help. Drinking alcohol on an empty stomach can increase intoxication more quickly, which can reduce decision-making quality around food choices. When inhibition drops, people may eat larger portions, choose richer foods, or snack more impulsively. Alcohol also adds calories on its own, making the combination more impactful. Eating a balanced meal first often reduces both rapid intoxication and impulsive overeating. Planning for social meals by adjusting earlier meals can reduce overeating while keeping flexibility. For example, some people choose lighter but protein-rich meals earlier, so they arrive at dinner hungry but not ravenous. This approach keeps the day balanced without feeling like punishment. The goal is to enjoy social food calmly while protecting the overall weekly pattern. Consistency in protein intake helps keep training quality steady during a calorie deficit. When protein is adequate day after day, muscles have the building blocks they need to repair from workouts and stay strong. This can make exercise feel more stable and reduce the chance that strength and energy drop sharply while dieting. It also supports fullness, which can make the deficit feel calmer and easier to maintain. High-intensity workouts require sufficient recovery, sleep, and overall nutrition to be sustainable. These sessions stress the body more than gentle activity, and without enough rest, they can lead to persistent fatigue. When recovery is supported through sleep, protein, and sensible scheduling, high-intensity training can improve fitness and burn meaningful energy. When recovery is not supported, people often feel worn down and stop training entirely, which is why balance matters. Overtraining can increase fatigue and reduce NEAT, indirectly slowing fat loss. When the body feels constantly drained, it tends to conserve energy by moving less outside of workouts, less walking, less fidgeting, fewer small tasks. This means a person might be working harder in the gym but burning fewer calories overall across the day. Sustainable training usually leaves you feeling capable, not exhausted all the time. A realistic schedule improves adherence more than an ideal plan that doesn't fit real life. It's better to choose workouts and meal patterns you can repeat on busy weeks, not only on perfect weeks. When a plan matches your time, energy, and responsibilities, it becomes automatic instead of stressful. Over months, that realism often determines success more than any specific workout or diet design. Making the easiest choice the healthy choice is a powerful strategy. When ready-washed salad, pre-cooked proteins, or quick frozen vegetables are available, a good meal can happen with very little effort. This reduces the chance that hunger pushes you into whatever is fastest and most calorie-dense. The environment becomes a quiet support system that helps you stay consistent. Keeping cut vegetables visible and accessible can increase vegetable intake because it lowers the effort needed to eat them. When vegetables are already washed, chopped, and easy to grab, they become an obvious snack or meal add-on. This increases meal volume with relatively few calories and supports a feeling of fullness. Over time, small convenience upgrades like this can reshape eating patterns without strict rules. Grocery shopping, when very hungry, often increases purchases of high-calorie snack foods. Hunger makes the brain more sensitive to reward, and packaging and smells become more tempting. This can lead to buying foods you didn't plan for, which then influences eating at home for days. A simple habit, having a small protein snack before shopping, can reduce impulsive buys and keep choices calmer. Writing down meals for the next day can reduce impulsive eating by removing decision-making when hunger hits. A plan doesn't have to be strict. It can be a simple outline, like protein breakfast, balanced lunch, planned snack. When food choices are decided ahead of time, you're less likely to grab random snacks or overeat at night. Planning is often less about control and more about mental peace. Regular breakfast is helpful for some people, but not necessary for everyone because personal hunger patterns vary. Some people feel more stable and snack less when they eat breakfast, while others feel fine delaying food until later. The key is whether the pattern supports consistent total intake and a calm relationship with hunger. A helpful routine is the one that keeps you steady, not the one that matches someone else. A high-protein dinner can reduce late-night snacking for some individuals by creating stronger fullness and stabilizing hunger signals. When dinner is light on protein and fiber, hunger can return quickly, especially later in the evening. A balanced dinner, protein, vegetables, and enough volume often makes the evening feel calmer. This can support sleep and prevent extra calories from late-night grazing. Waist circumference is a practical marker of central fat changes over time, often reflecting shifts in abdominal fat and bloating patterns. Because the waist is sensitive to both fat loss and water retention, it's best tracked consistently, same time of day, same posture, similar conditions. Over weeks, a shrinking waist can signal progress even when scale weight is slow. This can be especially reassuring during plateaus. A whoosh on the scale is often delayed water loss that becomes visible after a period of fat loss. Sometimes the body holds onto water during stress, inflammation, or hormonal shifts, masking fat loss on the scale. Then, when water balance shifts, the scale suddenly drops. The fat loss didn't happen overnight. The water moved overnight, revealing what was already progressing. Your body stores carbohydrate as glycogen along with water, so changing carbohydrate intake often changes water weight more than fat mass in the short term. When carbs drop, glycogen drops and water follows, which can make the scale fall quickly. When carbs rise again, glycogen refills and water returns, which can make the scale rise even without fat gain. Understanding this helps people interpret fluctuations calmly. Salted restaurant meals can cause next-day water retention and a higher scale reading. Restaurants often use more sodium than home cooking, and sauces and breads can add even more. The body holds extra water to balance sodium levels, and that water can show up as a temporary weight increase. Over a few days of normal eating, this often fades without needing drastic action. Air travel, poor sleep, and stress can increase fluid retention and shift scale weight temporarily. Setting for long periods, changing time zones, and higher stress hormones can all influence how the body holds water. This is why the scale can look worse after a trip, even if eating wasn't excessive. A few days of normal routine sleep, movement, hydration often brings weight back toward trend. DOMS or deludonsid muscle soreness can increase inflammation and water retention after new or harder training. When muscles adapt, they hold water as part of the repair process, and the scale may rise or stall briefly. This is not fat gain, it's recovery. As the body adapts to the new training load, soreness and water shifts usually become smaller. As you lose weight, calorie needs often decrease, which means the same diet can gradually become less of a deficit. A smaller body uses less energy at rest and during movement, so intake may need adjustments over time. This is one reason weight loss often slows later in the process. Small changes like slightly smaller portions or a bit more daily movement can restore progress without extreme measures. Adding a small amount of daily movement can sometimes restart progress without cutting more food. A little more walking, a few extra steps, or an extra short activity break can increase energy expenditure in a way that feels gentle. This approach often protects mood and training quality better than cutting calories further. It's a quiet reminder that movement doesn't have to be intense to matter. Protein adequacy becomes more important as calories drop because it protects lean mass. When overall food intake is low, the body has fewer nutrients available for repair and maintenance. Adequate protein helps preserve muscle tissue, which supports strength and keeps metabolism steadier. It also improves fullness, which can make a low-calorie phase feel more comfortable. Maintenance breaks, or planned periods at maintenance calories, can help some people reduce fatigue and improve adherence. During these breaks, hunger can soften, training can feel stronger, and stress may decrease. Some people find that returning to a deficit afterward feels easier because they're mentally and physically refreshed. Even if scale weight pauses, the break can support long-term success by preventing burnout. Diet breaks may temporarily increase scale weight due to glycogen and water, even if fat gain is minimal. When calories and carbs increase, glycogen stores refill and water returns, which can raise weight quickly. This can be emotionally confusing if someone expects the scale to keep dropping, but in many cases, the scale change is mostly water, and the break can still be useful for recovery and consistency. Long-term maintenance often involves ongoing routines, steady protein intake, regular activity, and some form of self-monitoring. This doesn't mean constant dieting, it means having habits that keep weight stable without major effort. Many people find that routines become simpler over time as they become part of normal life. Maintenance is often less about intense control and more about gentle repetition. If hunger is extreme and persistent, increasing food volume with vegetables and lean protein often helps more than adding calorie-dense foods. High-volume, lower-energy foods can fill the stomach and trigger fullness signals without pushing calories too high. Lean protein adds satiety and supports muscle, while vegetables add bulk and fiber. This approach can reduce the feeling of fighting hunger all day. Hunger can also be influenced by boredom, and changing your environment or activity can reduce snack urges. Sometimes the urge to eat is really an urge for stimulation, comfort, or a break. A short walk, a shower, music, or a small task can shift the mind and make the urge fade. This doesn't deny real hunger, but it can separate true hunger from habit-driven snacking. Sleep regularity can support better appetite control and daily decision-making. When sleep times are steady, hormones and energy patterns tend to be steadier too. Many people find they crave less and feel more capable of planning meals when their sleep routine is consistent. It's one of the quiet foundations that makes other habits easier. Morning light exposure can support circadian rhythm by giving the brain a clear signal that the day has started. This can help regulate sleep timing, making it easier to fall asleep at night and wake up more naturally in the morning. Better sleep timing often supports steadier hunger cues and energy during the day. Even a short exposure to daylight early on can help some people. Late caffeine can shorten sleep and worsen appetite control the next day for many individuals. When sleep is reduced, cravings often increase, and the desire for quick, calorie-dense foods becomes stronger. This can create a loop. Caffeine disrupts sleep, poor sleep increases cravings, cravings increase intake, and energy feels unstable. Adjusting caffeine timing can quietly improve both sleep and appetite. Structured resistance training improves functional strength, making daily activity easier and sometimes increasing NEAT naturally. When your body is stronger, stairs feel easier, carrying groceries feels lighter, and movement feels less draining. That often leads to more spontaneous activity without conscious effort. Strength becomes a support for everyday life, not just a gym goal. Carrying more muscle can improve glucose handling and reduce risk markers independent of weight. Muscle acts like a large sink for glucose, helping remove sugar from the bloodstream after meals. More muscle and more active muscle improve insulin sensitivity, supporting stable energy. This means health improvements can happen even if the scale doesn't change dramatically. Even modest fat loss can improve blood pressure, blood lipids, and glucose markers in many people. Health changes often begin before someone reaches their goal weight. Losing a small percentage of body weight can reduce strain on the cardiovascular system and improve metabolic regulation. This is a reminder that progress is meaningful long before the end point. Many metabolism boosters are overstated because most create only small effects compared with consistent eating and movement habits. Some supplements might slightly increase energy expenditure or reduce appetite in limited ways, but the impact is usually modest. The basics protein, fiber, sleep, and activity tend to matter far more. Being cautious with big promises can protect both health and expectations. Protein increases the thermic effect of food, meaning the body uses more energy processing protein than processing fats or carbs. This can slightly increase daily energy expenditure, but it doesn't override calorie balance. The main advantages of protein usually come from satiety and muscle preservation. Think of the thermic effect as a small support, not the main driver. Cold exposure can increase energy expenditure, but comfort, safety, and overall habits matter much more for fat loss than cold alone. While brown fat activation is real, its contribution is usually small compared with diet and activity. Cold methods can also be unpleasant or risky if done improperly. If used at all, it should be approached gently and safely, without expecting major fat loss from cold itself. Brown fat activity tends to decline with age on average, though individuals vary. This means younger people may have a slightly greater capacity for brown fat heat production, but it's not a guarantee. Lifestyle and body composition also influence brown fat function. It remains an interesting part of metabolism, but not something most people can rely on as a main weight loss strategy. Hunger regulation changes after weight loss can persist, which is why maintenance strategies are so important. The body may signal more hunger and reduce energy expenditure as it tries to protect its previous weight. This isn't personal failure, it's biology. Planning maintenance habits like protein, activity, and regular monitoring helps counterbalance these signals. Weight loss can improve joint pain for some people because it reduces mechanical load on knees, hips, and ankles. Every step places force through joints, and less body weight can reduce that force. This can make walking and exercise easier, which then supports continued activity. For many, reduced pain becomes a positive cycle that helps maintain movement. Building strength can also reduce joint pain by improving muscular support and movement mechanics. Strong muscles stabilize joints, improve alignment, and reduce strain during daily activities. Strength training can also improve balance and control, reducing the risk of awkward movements that cause pain. This is one reason exercise can be protective, not harmful when done appropriately. Poor nutrition quality can make a calorie deficit harder by increasing hunger and reducing energy levels. If meals are low in protein, fiber, and micronutrients, the body may feel unsatisfied even when calories are high. This can lead to constant cravings and low motivation for movement. Improving food quality often makes the deficit feel calmer and more manageable. Adequate micronutrients support training, recovery, and daily functioning during weight loss. Vitamins and minerals are involved in energy production, immune function, muscle contraction, and many other processes. When micronutrients are low, fatigue and poor recovery can appear, making consistency harder. A varied diet with whole foods usually helps cover these needs. Including a wide variety of minimally processed foods helps meet micronutrient needs more reliably than repeating a narrow set of foods. Different foods provide different nutrients and plant compounds. Variety also reduces boredom, which can support adherence. Over time, a diverse diet often feels more satisfying and sustainable. High-protein, high-fiber meal patterns often reduce cravings and improve fullness. Protein stabilizes hunger hormones and supports muscle, while fiber adds volume and slows digestion. Together, they make meals feel steady and satisfying. Many people notice fewer urges for constant snacking when these two anchors are consistent. Eating enough at meals reduces the likelihood of compensatory overeating later. When meals are too small or too low in protein and fiber, hunger builds and can lead to larger impulsive eating later in the day. Balanced meals can prevent that rebound effect. This is why yunda eating all day often backfires for many people. Regular physical activity supports mood, which can reduce emotional eating in some individuals. Movement can reduce stress, improve sleep quality, and provide a sense of progress and stability. When mood is better, food decisions often feel less reactive. This doesn't mean exercise cures stress, but it can be a steady support. Stress and sleep are often hidden variables that change appetite and adherence more than people expect. When stress rises and sleep falls, cravings increase, patience drops, and planning becomes harder. Even if the diet plan stays the same on paper, real-life behavior can shift. Addressing stress and sleep often improves results without changing the entire diet. Sustainable fat loss usually comes from repeating manageable habits for months, not from extreme short-term plans. The body responds to consistency more than intensity. Small daily actions, balanced meals, protein, fiber, walking, and sleep create results that last. The quiet power is in repetition. Consistency improves when routines match your environment, schedule, preferences, and budget. A plan that's too expensive, too complex, or too socially difficult is hard to maintain. When a plan fits naturally into your life, it stops feeling like constant effort. Over time, that fit becomes the difference between temporary change and lasting change. The most effective plan is often the simplest plan you can repeat without burnout. Complexity can create friction, and friction leads to quitting. Simple meals, simple movement, and simple tracking methods tend to survive busy weeks. The goal is not to do everything, but to do the basics steadily. When progress stalls, adjusting either intake, activity, or both based on measured trends often works better than guessing. Plateaus usually reflect the body reaching a new balance between calories in and calories out. Small changes, made calmly and tracked over a few weeks, are often enough to restart progress. This approach reduces stress and makes the process feel more predictable. Medical conditions and medications can meaningfully influence appetite, activity, and weight. So persistent, unexplained changes deserve professional evaluation. Sometimes the barrier is not effort, but biology like thyroid issues. sleep apnea, or medication effects. Getting the right information can prevent unnecessary frustration and guide safer strategies. Support and clarity are part of sustainable health. Burning fat and losing weight is, at its core, a long-term accounting of stored energy versus used energy, shaped by hormones, behavior, environment, sleep, and consistent habits. It's not one perfect day, and it's not one strict rule. It's a gentle accumulation of small choices that, over time, shift the body's balance in a quiet direction. And as you rest now, you can let your body do what it's designed to do: repair, regulate, and settle one calm breath at a time.